Hello and welcome to my den. I'm Lynn, and today we're going to be continuing on with VALENTORTURE 2025 by playing the demo for Snow White Ashes. Now, this game does have a content warning, so this game contains non-explicit sexual themes as well as topics that may be upsetting to some players, including toxic and abusive relationships, blood, death, and elements of horror. Please take care and visit the official game page for detailed content warning list. Cool. I will be sure to do that and put any detail ones up. At least I bloody hoped. Editing me, remember to do that. Don't be lazy and don't be a dick. Okay. But it said on the store page that this game also contains themes around toxic and unhealthy relationships. So if you're uncomfortable with any of that, or if you're under 18, I don't know why you're here if you're under 18, I will see you in another video hopefully, or yeah. What am I saying? I have been very sick today. Gosh. Not all branches are available in the current demo. Choices with lock symbols cannot be selected. Oh, interesting. Nice though. What is the cursor? I don't know if you guys can see the cursor on the screen, but it looks either like a sickle or like snowbell flowers, or a very intricate fishing rod. Now, are you prepared for the tail? Yep, I'm prepared for the tail. I got a tummy ache, but I'm being very brave about it. But yeah, so if I'm a little bit off today, it's just I have been very, very sick over the past couple of days. You can probably hear it in some of my other recordings, and I'm a bit off schedule and off kilter right now because I randomly slept for 16 hours, so that's fun. Anyway, we're going to start the game now, so let's get into it. At least we will get into it after I clean my glasses. I touched them when I put my headphones on and didn't notice there was a massive smudge. That's not going to be helpful with reading. Oh, they are snowbells. Okay. I walk through an ashen wood, alone. Frozen earth crunches crick-crack beneath my feet. Fat, blurry snowflakes fly by, aglow with the moon's bright light. I could never truly be lost, not on a night like this, when she shines so round and full, gazing down from the winter sky above. Pretty. Still, I'd best look like I am. Okay. I meander through ashen trails between the birches, silver girth stripped with dark around the trunks of the pines that breach the sky. Boughs buried with snow? Yes, boughs buried with snow. I walk between the shadows, slip through pools of light and dark as if I have somewhere to be, but no knowledge of what path might take me to it. Is there an option to change the texting? Transitions? No, that's fine. It can be a little helpful sometimes for people who have vision problems or people with dyslexia if you have different options to change the font size and the font type when you're doing visual novels and stuff. All the while I wrap myself in a cape of red wool, pulling its rough spun fabric and fine needlework tight about my shoulders. My hands I rest inside the sheepskin. Reading is difficult. My hands I rest inside thick sheepskin gloves. Even with the snow and the mountain air in my face, the thrill of the hunt keeps the bite of the cold at bay. My heart beats with an unfamiliar feeling, a pounding, jittering rhythm. I shiver with excitement. I hope whatever's out there mistakes it for fear. Okay, very interesting main character we got going on here. I sink my hands deep into the pockets of my skirts, running my gloved fingers along the edge of the deadly sharpened point I carry. Oh. In a strange way, it feels more totem than weapon. I suppose I seek no ordinary prey. I almost smile, like my quarry, how strange to think that I too might hide my fangs. And so I wander on, trembling like a newborn lamb. I wonder how the beast might appear. Would it call out to me in a voice nectar sweet, promising shelter? Would it lure me in... I'm so bad at reading, oh my gosh. Would it lure me to its mountain lair, whispering honeyed words as it led me into a place where no screams can echo? Would it stalk me patiently, waiting for the moment I collapsed cold, exhausted in the snow? Very pretty art. This game was made by one person, and that in itself is very, very, very impressive, but all of the art and the assets are absolutely lovely so far. As I wonder and wonder, I find myself growing impatient, the cause of my shaking turning from thrill to frost. When would it appear? Would it appear? Am I not the image of the perfect prey? I'm running out of time. No such vexations are a luxury I can't indulge in. I cannot rush this. I need my mind clear. Surely there is some way of drawing its attention to me until it can no longer look away. I feel in my pockets for the small, sharp knife I'd use to whittle my weapon into a deadly point. What simpler way to entice a beast than with iron freshly drawn? Oh, okay. But did I need to go so far? Perhaps it was not flesh it was hungry for. Perhaps I simply needed to call out to it. Draw your blood or sing. Let's try singing first, because if we're hunting something like specific, right? If we like have, what am I trying to say? Both of these give away your position, right? One would smell and one would sound. But if we're trying to get something specific, blood might draw in like something else more dangerous that we're not prepared for, whereas singing kind of has a habit of scaring away, and making noise has a habit of scaring away some predators, whereas blood has like more of a chance of drawing in more predators, at least in my opinion. I might be very, very wrong about that, but that's just how my mind works. We're gonna sing. So I call to it. So call to it, I don't. Is it being lured in by how dumb I am? So I call. God damn it. So call to it, I do. I close my eyes and take a deep breath, and then I raise my voice to song. My unfamiliar tongue savours each word of the well-worn tune. Ooh. Pretty. The Mist Queen, wrapped in fog, how softly does she go? With a silver veil round her head that shines like fallen snow. I shiver now to look at her, in moonshine lit aglow. Pretty. But before I can continue into the second verse, a sudden sound echoes in the distance. I turn. No longer do I hear the wind through the trees, the hooting of an owl, or the scurrying of a squirrel. It's as if the world has gone completely silent and still. That's a dangerous situation. Silent forests are never good. Save for a pair of carefully approaching footsteps. Crunchity, crunchity, crunch. It is seconds longer before I see it, a pinprick of light in the distance, a blur of white like the snow swirling around me. Gradually it comes closer, blinking, flickering, bright. All the while I stay still, so still like my heart has forgotten its beat. Closer it draws, closer still, until finally I make out its face, framed in white, lock eyes with it. with him. Oh, he's pretty. He's very pretty. Hello, sir. Nice to meet you. I'm Lynn. I'm a demon from the Umbra. Who likes stories. Hello. I can't move or turn away. I can't even breathe. The eye stares back at me with... That eye stares back at me with so deep a green. Very nice. He's kind of... I don't know if I'm seeing it weirdly, but he's kind of got a little bit of a cat eye going on there. Are you lost? He says, and like a spell broken, I shake out of my daze, the wind and the sound of the night roaring in my ears. His voice cuts through it all, clear as a bell. Are you cold? The figure wears the skin of a man. A skin so impossibly fair it reminds me of the broken statue of an angel I once saw in a ruined castle. The surface of its marbled pallor cold as ice when I brushed it with my fingertips. How flawlessly smooth, how otherworldly, that lonely thing left behind in a place of broken granite and brittle stone. I wonder if the being before me is as cold to the touch. He dresses from head to toe in white, shrouded in white from his fine wool coat to his fur-trimmed cape and soft leather gloves. Even his hair cascades of gentle curls that frame his face, shines silver, a radiance halo lit from the glow of the lantern he carries in his hand. The other he extends to me. Yes, you're very handsome, you're very pretty. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Silver-haired man, are you lost? He asks again. I won't hurt you. I'll see you to safety, I promise. Do I trust that? I'm not sure I do. The sound of his voice makes all the worry in the world melt away. It's so musical, so warm and calming, like liquid honey. It takes all my will not to take his hand and offer all at once. Who are you? Oh, I'm not lost. I want to know what his name is. Who are you? Oh, she's pretty! I like it. I like the very, it's not bright red, but the red is very, very contrasting to the mostly grey, and I like how it makes the main character pop. That's great. Who are you? I ask. Oh, come on, you didn't tell me your name, that's rude. Simply a traveller passing through, he says with the faintest hint of a smile, soft, gentle, and threatening. If I were naive, I would take his answer without question at all. No, man, it's sus, you didn't give your name. But I'm not. Here, alone in the woods at night. I could ask the same of you, Demoiselle. What? I could ask the same of you. I don't know what that word is. Demoiselle, why did you... God damn, that word's tripped me up so badly. I could ask the same of you. Why ever did you wander here? I was searching for something. Whatever it might be, you've come far. The nearest village is hours away. Have you a place to shelter for the night? No. I say as I quiver, as I fill my voice with the trembling of a lost, vulnerable thing. Lead me away, you have nothing to fear and everything to gain. Please come with me. I'm sojourning not far from here. You can share my fire and stay the night in safety. I suppose I can't refuse such a kind offer, I reply, letting relief wash over my words. Show me your true face. Show me your fangs. It'd be funny if this was just some rando guy who was actually just passing through and not the, like, beast or the person that the main character's looking for. Like, oh, that's just Steve passing through. Then please, good sir, lead the way. With his free hand, he offers me his arm. I hesitate. Such closeness would avail me to my weapon, but just as easily put me at his mercy. How quickly could he strike back? With what strength could he stop me if I failed? Could take his arm, or we can say we can walk just fine. I'm gonna take his arm. I know that's more risky, but at the same time we're trying to build this character of, like, damsel in distress. So let's lean into that a little more. I reach for his outstretched hand. My fingers linger on his gloved ones for only a moment before he links his arm through mine, sweeping his cloak around the both of us in one elegant motion. Interesting. Oh, that's very pretty. Very nice. I cannot help but gasp. Forgive me if I startled you. I thought you'd be warmer this way. I'm fine, I stammer, digging my other arm deep into my pockets, gripping my weapon tight. His wool cloak and warm furs around my shoulders do keep away the cold, but I feel no warmth from him, no blush across his pallid cheeks, not one breath from his lips fogging the night air. Interesting. I wonder what he is. Like, is he human? Is he a, like, creature of sorts? I do have a weakness for vampires, admittedly. He smells of incense and pine and faintly the metallic tang of iron. Okay. I wonder if I've made a mistake. My heart hammers as I walk beside him, its beat an unfamiliar drumming in my chest. Thankfully, he slows his stride to match mine. I take a deep breath and keep myself steady, staying alert as he leads me onward through the trees. Very interesting. I like the whole, like, she's hunting him as much as he's hunting her. And she's the only one who's aware that it's a, like, double-sided situation and not just him catching another, like, prey. Even if he... I'm still not 100% certain if he is or is not the monster we're seeking out, though, so this could get very interesting. It does not seem like he will strike me here. I must be patient. I will wait. Might I ask your name? He says, after we have walked some steps from the clearing. I have worn names like they were ribbons in my hair. Dozens of names in all colours and shapes. To give one away now would be a frivolous thing. Yeah, if you meet a possible fey creature in the forest, it's not a good idea to give your actual name to them, so to give them a fake one. But names, even false ones, create familiarity, bonds. Would it be wiser to keep my cards close, heart closed? Well, as much as it would, like, feed into the character of being like, oh, I'm lost and I'm frightened and I'm unaware of what's going on by giving him a fake name, I feel like it's only fair, since he didn't give his, to not give ours, so you may not know our name. You may not, and neither will I ask yours. No so two strangers sharing a fire for the night than parting ways. I'd rather keep you a story in my heart, a tale I remember far beyond today, than something so ordinary as Gully, M, or Arthur? He looks offended with the hand on his chest like, how dare you? Neither of those are my name, and who says we must part after this, or that we'll never meet again? Interesting, but I did ask your name before and you didn't give it to me, and yet now you're pushing me for mine. What's up with that then, buddy, huh? If we do meet once more, if fate spins it so, then I would ask you your name. Oh, he looks very upset. Would you not allow me to guess? Are you secretly a fairy who spins straw into gold? Is it Demoiselle? I gotta figure out that's gonna bug me if this keeps like cropping up as the way he refers to us. How to pronounce Demoiselle. Demoiselle?
Demoiselle.
Ah, I see it now. French. Right. Got it. Demoiselle. I'm fairly certain that if I were not so guarded, I would blush. Thankfully, my cheeks are already numb from the cold. You sly, cunning thing. I'll give you 3 guesses then, to divert us as we walk. But even should you be correct, I'm afraid I have no fairy gold to reward you with. The knowledge alone would be prize enough. He smiles almost mischievously. He thinks for a moment. Is it Michelle? It is not. Am I close? I will not say, but a particular choice, an angel's name. I thought you looked like one from a distance, a figure standing in the midst, one that couldn't be real. Only from a distance. Much more so up close, he smiles, emerald eye twinkling. He pauses to think again. Could it be Rhea? From an angel to a goddess. I know you for what you are now, sir, a wicked flatterer. Here's flirty. Am I wicked if I only relate the truth? Oh, stop now. Your 3rd guess? He goes silent again, casting his gaze to the night sky. Is your name Celine? Oh, did he get it correct, I wonder? I kind of want to say yes. Like, that would be interesting if he did get it right. Yeah, let's say yes. It is. Are you secretly a fairy prince? How did you guess? Well, when I looked at the moon... Oh no, it's gonna get goo-goo, isn't it? Don't like it when it gets goo-goo. This is why Kay and Fleur have forced me to do the Valentine stuff. I don't like it. Leave me alone in my little Aero Ace cave. You thought to compare me to its radiance. I thought how serene you looked despite being lost in the cold. As if you knew I would find you. Oh shit, is he onto us? He gives me a warm smile. But indeed, you are radiant. Would you allow me to tell you mine? We actually get to know his name. Holy shit. Well, maybe his name. He might be faking it too. I suppose I have no other reward to grant you? He smiles a full, genuine smile. You are the one as radiant as the moon. Oh no, don't. You're supposed to be hunting him, supposedly. Don't fall for him, hun. Gabriel. Huh. Interesting. A lot of Like, it's a biblical name, isn't it? I think. My name is Gabriel. Like the older angels, I murmur. If I were naive, I would wonder if he's old enough to remember the angels from the days long before the mist descended. Before any gods and their icons who watched from above fled as the undead and unsalted plunged the earth into pestilence and death and rot. I would wonder had he plucked an apple from the branches of Islam, tasted its sweet flesh. Okay, very biblical. But I know better. My parents were fond of old tales, both of them for different reasons, he says with a wistful smile. What reasons? My father valued the strength of divinity, and my mother valued their tales of virtue. A name can be a gift, and I treasure mine as I treasure their memory. Is he being truthful, or is he making this up to get us to let our guard down more? You must miss them. I do, he replies softly. I wait, but he does not continue. It's not enough, I need more. Show me what lies beneath your skin. Show me the beast that you are. Now that you've asked something of me, I say, I believe it's only fair that I ask you a question in turn. But you made me work for your answer, he replies lightly. And you agreed to it, did you not? Very well then, ask away. Ask about his purpose here, ask about his clothes. What's your purpose here, mate? What you doing? Why out in the woods? You said you're a traveller, but why here? Why these mountains, this forest? I often come to the mountains to hunt. I love the air here, the pristine wilderness. Of course you would, you wild thing. But sir, your clothes are far too fine for a mere huntsman. You look fit to be well, if not a prince, then a knight of the Queen's Guard at least. Interesting. The Queen? There is no queen that rules these lands, unless you speak of the Mist Queen. Ooh, the Mist Queen. A figure shrouded in fog, in mystery, like her name. Interesting. What's this Mist Queen about? Whispered around campfires and village squares, in sober tones, in drunken ones, in awe and reverence. But most often in fear. I've seen her nights before, marching in the wilds, their pyres burned on the hillsides for days. Do you believe that she's lived since the dawn of time, that she bathes in the blood of men to keep her beauty? Not for a moment. I laugh. You speak as you know her. Interesting. Would you be afraid if I did? If I were a servant of the Queen? Oh. I feel like he's fawning too much to continue talking if we say yes, so we're going to say no. It really piqued my interest about this Mist Queen thing. I would call you a spinner of tall tales, good sir. I can scarcely believe she's an immortal at all. The Mist Queen and her Ashen Prince. They sound more like fairy tales than living, well, unliving people. After all, who can remember a time before the mists fell? Who can say whether the undying still walk this earth? Yet, if you were only a servant, a mere pawn, I would think her unfit to be queen of anything at all, how poor her sense of virtue is. You believe me to be virtuous? Well, here you are, helping a poor lost damsel in the snow. I laugh. Interesting, interesting, interesting. It's only human to help others in need. I shake my head. Some would disagree, some would seek an advantage over others. That is human nature, my hunter. In any case, there is something gentle about you. I cannot think to place you amongst her scores of blood-soaked knights. Interesting. Those reactions to the stuff we talk about are very, very intriguing. I like a good story. Yes, yes, yes. He looks at me for a long time. I wonder if I have said too much. You are a strange girl. A strange, bold girl. Actually, I non-binary. Sorry. No. A girl. Well, then. A girl. I'm well past 20 summers. But do not think to ask me how many, gentle hunter. I shall not. Have you a family, then? Oh, but that's a red flag question to get asked by a stranger in the woods by yourself. That's danger. That's, run away. I did, though I was a stranger to them at first. They welcomed me into their home and became just like a family to me. I loved them very much. But those days are gone now. Interesting. I wonder if she's telling the truth or if she's trying to make herself seem more like the perfect prey here. He gives me a look of sympathy. I'm sorry. I'm like you. I once had a wife and son, but plague took them from me. Oh. I'm sorry for your loss. I consider what to say next. Ask about his past, ask about his family. It feels polite to ask about his family at this point when somebody drops that sort of bomb on you, so let's ask about his family. If I may ask, how did you meet your wife? I wasn't always a hunter. Once I was a young doctor in a small countryside town. Oh. She was my first patient. She'd injured her leg trying to rescue a lost sheep and was so embarrassed that she was rather unkind to me while I treated her. Oh. She warmed to me eventually and I grew to love her stubbornness. That's very cute. A pained look flashes beneath his emerald eye. It hurts me more than I expected to hear him speak of her in those words with that tenderness. Don't get jealous now. You came here with the intent to hunt him, didn't you? Why did I ask? I'm sorry that you lost her, I say weakly. He does not reply for some time. It was a long time ago now, he says simply. How long ago? We talking a couple 100 years or like 10? What's going on? How old are you? I can't tell. Is that all you have to say? Even the wind is silent as we walk, the crunching of our footsteps the only sound in the night. It's a relief when he turns the conversation away. I've spoken enough of unpleasant matters. Tell me something about you. What do you enjoy? Hunting, apparently. Oh, I enjoy singing. I'm fond of needlework. Well, we sang already, so... Although the needlework's very intriguing. What to pick? Yeah, let's go with singing. That was the first one I thought of because we sang Delorum out, so it makes sense. I love songs. When I sing, I never truly feel alone. And you have talent for it indeed. He looks about to speak, but hesitates. Are you often lonely? I'm quite used to it. Solitude is like an old friend to me now. Sometimes I wonder, is it better to be alone or to spend your life with someone you cannot give your heart to? Oh. Interesting thought. Both of those sound lonely. A wise man would seek a third route, but what if you had no other option? Oh, right then. What if fate had tied you together like roots intertwined? I wonder if he's talking about the Mist Queen or... I'd spend my days in solitude, I would learn to grow beside them. Okay, that's a very interesting question to give us. Would you rather be alone or spend time with someone you could never love? Here's me overthinking it again, because it's like, is it just not loving them? Do you enjoy spending time with them in a friendly manner? Or do you outright hate them? Because if you outright hate them, that could be even more torturous than being alone. But if the instead question is, would you rather be alone than be around someone who you enjoy your time with, but like never could grow to love more than like a companion? The only reason why I'm hesitating is because if it's spending all the time with someone you truly do not have any desire to be around whatsoever, even in like a friendly manner, then I would rather be by myself. But if it's just like a friendly bond without the romance, then that's my regular day-to-day and I enjoy the company. So it's I'd learn to grow beside them. I cannot imagine running away in solitude forever. I would think it just as lonely for the other person. Would you abandon them, leave them to their burdens, not even try to overcome the fate that you shared? Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it. Forgive me, I've burdened us with heavy topics again. But I thank you for your insights. Of course, gentle hunter. I search my mind for another question, another distraction, then suddenly a howl, long and low, cuts through the night. Wolves. Puppies! Stay calm, he says in a hushed tone, folding his cloak around me as I clutch his arm. I did not realize I'd gripped him so tightly. As long as I'm here, they won't approach. His voice is soft and melodious, the song of a shepherd coaxing a lamb. This fear I feel isn't mine, it isn't mine, but it runs beneath my skin like a rapid coursing river. My mind cannot quell the instincts of a living heart, but I must overcome it. I keep alert for any sudden movements from him, but he makes none. It's all right to be frightened, it's only natural. But you won't come to harm, I promise. Interesting. Is he protecting us because he wants to protect us because he's a good person, or is he protecting us because he doesn't want wolves to take his prey? Is the question. The same way a mouse is safe from the strike when the eagle is near. We stay that way, standing still in the shadows of the pines as the howls echo through the night, below on the wind. I keep alert for yellow eyes peering from the darkness, but none appear. Perhaps the wolves too sense him and know better than to strike. Out of instinct, I feel myself start to hum, a habit I never grew from, even when I no longer needed to calm my resting heart. Sorry, was that resting or racing? Resting, yes. I wish the pounding in my chest would still and turn to stone within its cage. Go on, he says, gently coaxing. Sing. Let your worries wash away. Huh. Interesting. I take a deep breath, and then I sing. That is a very pretty sound clip. Kind of reminds me of The Little Mermaid a bit. Misty-eyed, her eyes were bright. Her hands were misty too. Her skin was pale and white as milk, dark hair awet with dew. Her gown 'twas not made of silk, but willow branch and yew. By the river's bend how still she stood, as pale shadows bloomed. How black that night save silvery light of distant star and moon. By the time I have finished the verse, the howls have stopped. The only voice on the wind is the whispers of thin branches whistling through the wood. I quickly let go of his hand. Too close, not yet, not here. It's not far ahead now. Can you walk the rest of the way? I'm fine. Onward I follow as he leads me through the trees. The cottage comes into view as we turn the bend, almost as if it conjured itself from the mist itself. Nice. It's a cute little cottage. It's a small, quaint thing, a lonely, strange thing to see, placed here like it was plucked from a fairy story. Its wooden walls are aged but sturdy, its sloping roof coated in fresh snow. It should be the home of a living, breathing woodsman, not a creature of the night. I had never guessed you would hide yourself in a place like this. It's beautiful, I say. It's the only place in the world I feel truly safe. Its heavy door creaks open as he leads me inside. The cottage is small, with short square windows and low walls, but appears well kept, a solitary home. Interesting. It looks like he's got flowers, and are those apples, perhaps? A lot of herbs on the wall as well. Strings of dried herbs and fruit mint horsetail apples hanging from the ceiling. It is apples. A table and stool sit at its centre, stacked with clay pots and metal bowls. A stone hearth covers one wall, a narrow bed lined with furs sits against another. A bookshelf filled with dozens or so well-worn tomes stands proudly in a corner, even as it teeters beneath jars of more herbs and flowers. Interesting. So is he just interested in... No, he said he was a doctor, so of course he would be collecting herbs. For like medicines and stuff. The scent of incense, sweet and heady, fills my nose as he lights the kindling in the hearth. The embers cast his skin aglow, his silver curls are pallid features painted softly in warm light. He unfastens his long snow-white coat and tosses it onto the stool. Carefully, slowly, I slip my hands free from my sheepskin gloves. I feel his gaze, his green eyes watching me as I unravel my shawl from my pale throat. My fingers, still numb from the cold, fumble with the clasps on my cape. "May I?" he asks, stepping towards me. I nod, shaking. His hands, even gloved, are depth with a surgeon's swift a surgeon's hands. They free my shoulders of the deep red wool, set the fabric aside on the narrow bed. His gloved hand lingers near my collar. I do not move an inch. I scarcely breathe. "Show me your true self. Show me what you are." He brushes my cheek, a whisper of a touch, like he is afraid to hold me, like I am a statue that could crumble away beneath his fingers. Why is he touching? He took my coat, why is he touching? What's going on? No touchy! I don't know what you do with the touchy, mate. "May I?" he asks again, barely audible. "May you what? May you what? Please clarify." "Yes," I whisper back. He brushes a lock of dark hair behind my ear, then gently, slowly brings his lips to my... What? That escalated quickly, gently, slowly brings his lips to my skin. That is the... Whoa, 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 whoa. No. They are so soft. His touch is like snow that lands on my face, carried by the winter wind. Cold but light, feather light on my cheek, gentle. Far too gentle. It's not the guy you were hunting, he's just some dude. I don't want this delicate tenderness from him. I am not a fragile thing. Well, okay. I fold my hands around his neck, feel the downy softness of his hair as I slip my fingers through its ashen strands. He wraps me in his arms, holds me tightly, kisses my hair, trails his lips down my neck. No thank you. I shiver, I tremble against him as his gloved hands runs through my tresses, down my spine, feeling for the lace of my bodice. When did this happen? You talk, you know each other's names, you met in the woods, and now you're doing this? What? No. Hang on. He pushes me gently onto the furs, turns me onto my stomach as he parts my hair. What is going on? Found you? Oh shit. What? Found you, my queen. What the flip? What? I'm sorry, this went a different direction than I thought it was going to. I yelp as he pulls my hair sharply back from my head. Tears bead in my eyes as his hand presses against my skull. He holds me still as I thrash beneath him, tresses within his fingertips. That mark on my skin, I'd forgotten to lay at the base of my neck. The crooked crescent moon that I'd carved into my flesh with a sharp iron knife. Oh. What? Ashen Prince. Oh, frickin' hell. Might I humbly ask as your loyal consort? What? No! He whispers softly into my ear. The fire crackles and roars, casting flickering shadows around us, but I feel nothing but ice run through my veins. There is no hunger in his voice, no warmth, no desire. Has he mistaken us for someone else, or is this like what was supposed to Like, is this what she... I don't think this is what she planned to happen, but this is interesting. What? Only white cold fury. Oh, shit. Did you think you could fool me, Celine? Who? I don't know what you mean. Let go of me. Give this up, Celine. I've known you far too long for a new skin to deceive me. Oh my god, has he actually mistaken us for the Mist Queen? Or something? Like... Or is she actually the Mist Queen? Like, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Why are you here? What game are you playing? I swallow and go still, trying in vain to slow my racing heart. Steadying my voice, I say, "Let me go, my gentle hunter. I can hardly run from you here, can I?" I feel him hesitate for a breath, a moment that feels like a century before he loosens his hold on my tresses, lifts his weight from the bed, then stands. The relief I feel is short-lived. I curse myself that I shiver still at the memory, the whispers of his touch. That better be shivering out of fear, mate. That I'd lost my own senses, forgot for a moment who I was in this body. Is she actually? That I'd mistaken his tenderness for anything other than luring of his prey. I shift upright on the bed. I don't trust my legs not to buckle under their own weight. He stands a few feet from me, a gloved hand over his pale lips as a sigh escapes them. Yet he does not need to breathe. How dramatic. Does looking at me, even in this borrowed form, disgust you so? She is the Mist Queen! Oh my goodness! That is... woo! I thought this was gonna be like, oh, I'm tracking him down to avenge my family or something, but no! Oh my god! Would you care to enlighten me now, my queen? He asks, folding his arms. I take another deep breath. I refuse. I could ask the same of you. I could ask the same of you. She's pretty. I could ask the same of you, my hunter. Why don't you tell me, dear, why you're here alone in the mountains? Away from my castle, inviting pretty young things to your bed. Ooh, snap. I did not expect him to flinch at my words. Oh my god, so she was out hunting him down because he ran away from the castle. Oh. Dip! The anger and pain that flashed through his face almost make me regret them. You hardly count as a maiden, sweetheart, he says sharply. And when did you have any right to criticize me? I never said a word about the scores of bloodied hearts you left in your wake. Oh damn. That is not what this is about. Then what is this about? Did you follow me? Did you think you could have your way with me if you stitched yourself a pretty new face? I did no such thing. I know your victims had to die before you so into them. What? Oh my... wow. All surprise. All surprise. I know your victims have to die before you sow into them. Did you murder an innocent girl for this petty plan? That final line makes my borrowed blood boil beneath my skin. You. How dare you, Gabriel? Have I ever been callous and unmerciful? Have I ever treated humans like my playthings? This girl was dead when I found her. He laughs. It is a short, dry, hollow sound, like the winter wind knocking against the walls. You haven't changed at all. A plaything? Is that how you treat her now? wearing her corpse like a summer gown. Damn! I could try to calm the iron that pounds through my veins, the anger that courses within it, but I cannot. To have a heart and still is to have thought and feeling ring through every beat. I let my long-buried rage, my pain, bleed through every vein in my being. Aren't you curious how she died, my loyal consort? I asked, mirroring his bitter, mocking tone. Why should I be? She was killed, I seethed, by a beast wearing the skin of a man, one of our kind. His expression freezes. And she was not the first. Countless maidens have gone missing from the mountains, turning up dead, drained, and cold. Colder than your eyes now. And now who should I find here but you? You think I did this? You think I killed them? Have you lost your mind? Why would you hide yourself in the wilderness? Why would you disappear for months? Why wouldn't you tell me where you'd gone? He goes quiet again, staring at me with a deathly gaze. His next words are nearly a whisper, but if words had weight, his would be heavier than stone. How dare you, Celine? How long have you known me? How many centuries have I followed you loyally? I never forced you to serve me. I did not beg you to follow me. I always gave you a choice. You didn't give me a choice when you turned me into this, he hisses, motioning himself as parts of his hair from his face. Wait, what? You didn't give me a choice when you turned me into this, he hisses, motioning to himself as he parts his hair from his face with a violent gesture. I look away. I cannot stare back at those eyes. He's right after all. After all this time, you still despise me. I don't despise you. I despise myself for believing that you trusted me. Dang! Bloody hell. I do not reply. I hung my knees, still shaking, cursing my weakness, cursing the blood flush beneath my skin, warm and flowing and despicably human. What was I thinking? I thought I had prepared myself well. I am the Mist Queen, a woman who has walked Earth for a millennium, wearing as many faces as the moon. It should be child's play to appear to an innocent maiden, test his loyalty, his intentions, discern his innocence or his guilt. And then I should have found him fallen from grace. Then I would fulfill the promise I make to each and every one of my faithful vessels, should ever their hunger outweigh their humanity. Yet with him, could I fulfill the oath I made so long ago, when I brought him back from death, ash cold in my arms? Even knowing he could now be a monster, changed from the loyal knight I knew, when I look at him now, I cannot see anything but the face of the kind young doctor I met in that sleepy town by the wood. The face of the man I loved lifetimes ago. Oh my god, was she the wife as well? Holy crap! Perhaps the Mist Queen could steal her undead heart, cast aside her feelings. But foolishly, I'd forgotten one thing when I donned this skin. Flesh weighs down the spirit. Memories housed in a foreign mind may as well be half-remembered dreams. I do not feel like a monarch, a queen, because at this moment I am not. Now I'm a girl of barely 20 summers, trapped with a man glaring death at her through his face of an angel, and his voice, honey sweet, haunts her dreams. Just being in his presence fills her, me, with nothing but longing. How could I not hunger so desperately for his touch? Oh, whoa. Okay. How could I not wonder at the thoughts behind the mask of his eyes if there was still place for me inside his unbeating heart? Okay, yep, cool. My heartbeat thumps so loudly in my ears as we watch each other in silence. Finally, he takes his long cloak from the stall, fastens it around his shoulders, and moves towards the door, cracking it open as the night air creeps its tendrils inside the cabin. Where are you going? I shift, trying weakly to stand up. To see if what you've said is true. Liar. I know it when you avoid my gaze. When you speak, you can't bear to be near me. You're leaving now. I'll return. He pauses by the door frame silhouetted against the snow and inhales sharply. Stay put. There's still much I would ask you once you've cooled your head. Wait. He slams the door shut with a loud rattle. I don't hear his footsteps disappear into the cold, masked by the winter wind. Once I've cooled my head, you with your bitter sighs, Gabriel, you need as much as I do to calm yourself. I take a deep breath and another, trying to push the thoughts from my mind. I fight the tears threatening to spill from this helpless girl's eyes, my eyes. I grit my teeth and finally pull myself upright. My legs wobble but are steady enough to walk around the cramped cabin. It's easier to breathe without him near me, easier to think. I look at my surroundings, the fire still burns, offering precious warmth. Outside the short square window, the pines and birches bow in the wind, the night sky still swirls with snow. I think of the wolves, of the yellow eyes and howling filling the shadows. I will not get far if I try to leave. Perhaps I should find something here. Perhaps there was evidence, in this place he safeguarded so well, of his guilt. I had yet to find my proof after all, and I would not hurt him without it. Okay. I could not. I know that in my heart now. Yet, my deception has already failed. So much for this lovely skin. Am I merely fooling myself now? Was it time to abandon this body? Was it worth the risks to brave the night and the dangers to retrieve my old skin? Oh, she had to leave it behind? Interesting. Would I get another chance to if I simply stayed put and waited? Search the room or try to escape. We're already here, so let's search. I decided to start by looking around the room. It is the picture of a warm and solitary home, if cramped and unkept. Did he lure any victims here? Did any proof remain of the lives taken and the iron drained? The pain that flashed through his eyes was real. I know him that well, at least. I know his every look, the shape of his mouth, the tilt of his head, and how his unwavering gaze burns in my dreams. But what was the cause of that anguish, anger or guilt? If my gentle wolf is not a killer, then what secrets does he keep? Wolf, huh? So they're werewolves? Some sort of fae? Vampires? What's going on? I sift through the piles of garments and furs strewn about, his clothes worn and mended over the years with his familiar crooked stitching. I toss them aside indignantly. My hunter has dexterous hands, even through his thick white gloves, but how he'd shake whenever he held a needle. I'd scoffed once when I saw how he struggled. Why should fabric trouble him when he's once sutured flesh and sinew? He did not look at me nor speak to me for days. Some pieces are from recent decades, clean and neatly folded for once. I recognize each garment cut and sewn by my own hand, a dark waistcoat I'd stitched with a pattern of overlapping feathers, a lace shirt I'd embroidered with tiny bell-shaped flowers and sickle-like leaves. How I'd neatly tore the skin off his back when he said he'd lost it. How I'd nearly tore the skin off his back when he said he lost it, sorry. That he has it. It almost feels as if the fabric in my hands is not clothing but a costume. A costume for a pretend prince in an awful play written by my unlife. But that's not untrue. Our second marriage was more false than the first. Oh. So I wonder if, the first wife was a different person, and then when she passed away, maybe the Mist Queen took over her body without telling him, and, returned and, lived with him until after he, passed away, and then she resurrected him, or something along those lines. Or if, she was the woman in the village from the very beginning who had hurt herself with the sheep, and then revealed herself to be the Mist Queen after years of marriage or something. I think of his cold kisses on the back of my hand, on my hair whenever he parted from me for distant lands, whenever eyes were upon us. How well he played the part of the perfect and loving consort. How skillfully he hid his distaste for me. How adept he was at keeping his secrets. What secrets are you hiding, Gabriel? I sigh. There's nothing in a pile of clothing to suggest they belong to anyone but him. But just as I'm about to set them aside, I notice something peeking out from beneath a moth-eaten coat. Gingerly, I fish it out. What'd you find? It appears to be a hard leather case. The straps that hold it closed are already loose. Cautiously, I pry it open. Oh, a lyre. Inside it is an instrument, a wooden lyre carved with a pattern of graceful songbirds. It is no master craftsman's work, but it was clearly made with a patient hand. Its surface is clean and polished. I pluck its strings. They're still tuned. I cannot stop the bitter feeling that swells in my throat as I hold this imperfect but beautiful thing in my hands. I don't remember the last time he so much as hummed a tune beneath his breath. He never sang for me, not when I begged. Though I thought he had given up his music, buried his songs along with his past. It hurts now to know that wasn't the truth at all, that it was only me he would not sing for. Who then? Who do you sing for out in the wilderness alone? Who gets to hear your precious songs? I imagine for a moment flinging the instrument into the fire, watching the precious wooden birds carved on its surface blacken and char in the hearth. A desire that only grows the more I look at it. No, I am not burning an instrument. No way, no how, leave it be. I stop that impulse before I do something I should regret. I look at the instrument and imagine him carving it painstakingly with his careful gloved hands, staining the wood, stretching taut the strings. I imagine him attentively plucking the notes, drawing the song from the carved bird's beak. It is very pretty. I remember the other things I have broken and burned in front of it. What? Don't do that! That's awful! On nights when I fed, when the memories were too much for my slow beating heart to contain. Objects can always be replaced, I would say, more to console myself than him. That is not true. There is a lot of sentimentality on certain objects that people have. It's just very, very rude. Nobody has the right to be like, oh, it's just a meaningless thing. Look, I'm gonna break it or I'm gonna toss it and you can just buy another one or replace it. That's horrible to do to someone. Especially out of just random anger. Every action has a reason behind it, but the reason should be able to justify the action, not like, oh, I was upset so I broke all of your stuff because this one minuscule thing happened. Like, I am all for the, like, oh, I don't know, I paid for this thing you really, really wanted, but then you cheated on me, so I'm giving it to someone else, or I'm like, you know, if someone treats you horribly and still expects to get good stuff from you, I can kind of see it then. But if you're just like having an argument with someone over something, you shouldn't act so quickly out of anger and like break their things or lash out. It's always a wise idea to think on it before you act. Actions done in anger are quite often regretted. Only once did I go too far. Yeah, what did you do? Only once did I take away something that could never be replaced. Though a liar could be carved again, though it would feel satisfying to ruin it now, I know it would only lead to more regret soon after. Exactly. I carefully shut the case and place it back beneath the pile of his clothes. I sit with my head against my knees for a long while, trying not to think, remember, or feel. Finally, I turn and glance at the shelf filled with herbs, jars, and piled tomes with a deep fatigue. Shaking off my weariness, I reach for a volume from the shelf. Its spine cracks as I open it. The pages are filled with his scrawling handwriting, notes and paragraphs in fading ink, nearly swallowing myriad sketches of plants and herbs. You never were one for keeping idle, were you? I set the book aside, sink down to the floor, bury my head in my arms, and lean back against the bed. It's the living blood addling my senses, I think, but I can't bear how much his presence fills this place. I can imagine him bent over the teetering table, jotting something down with his perfect, elegant, gloved hands. You keep talking about his gloved hands quite a bit, love. Is there something important about his gloves that you're not telling us? What's going on? Laying his head on the pillow, listening to the mountain wind, eyes blinking closed, sleeping off the iron imbibed from spirits known where. Dreaming of something I can only guess at, for how many times have I heard him cry out in his sleep? Aw, poor bugger. It feels as if I am the intruder here. Well, you kinda are, lovey. It feels as if this place itself is a piece of him I was never welcome to see. I continue my search without enthusiasm, finding no signs of any other inhabitants, willing or otherwise. It seems that no other soul has ever visited here, or that he cleaned after himself well. I stand up only to collapse back on the bed. The hours in the woods, the walk through the cold, the heated words, all have exhausted this weak and unfamiliar body. I need a moment's rest before I resume my search. I curse the iron, warm and flowing, running through my veins. The fire still burns in the hearth, and the furs are so soft I only close my eyes for a moment. Oh, interesting. What are those flowers called? I know I know these ones. They have like a like they're like closely related to death. I know these ones. This is a flower language that I actually know. Holy shit. I stand in a long, empty hallway. Darkness is all around me, blacker than a night without a moon. A polished mirror stands in a gilded frame. I step towards it, my footfalls making no sound. Ooh, do we get to see what the Mist Queen actually looks like? My face stares back at me. Ooh! Okay, so that leaf symbol is important, so it's interesting that he's still wearing it despite having supposedly run away. Ashen and pale, framed by dull dark hair like a dim moon on a foggy night. My eyes like slate, cold, grey, lifeless. I close them. When I open them again, she is gone. A new face stares back at me. A young woman with glossy black locks, bright red lips, and eyes that twinkle like jewels. Okay, so that's the body we're currently in, I think. Oh, did she know her before? Like what you see, my queen. Want to rip it off and wear it yourself? She asks, mouth twisting in a wicked smile. Oh. Oh! Hi! I step back from the mirror, but her voice still rings, growing louder. Do you remember my name, Celine? She asks. Do you remember the name of the corpse you stole from her grieving parents? Oh my god, what? So you didn't just find her, hmm? Or are you saying, like, the parents were, like, grieving and you took the corpse after they had, like, buried it or something? Or are you saying you didn't give them the chance to grieve? Maya, I stammer. I had no choice. Oh, damn. The girl in the mirror twists and morphs, screaming, laughing, flesh shifting and turning until her skin rests, finally in a shape far too familiar. What the hell? Do you remember my name, Celine? Do you remember the name you borrowed when you stole my skin? Wore my flesh, played house with my corpse? Oh, that must be the first wife. I think. Of course I remember. Your name was Calliope, but it looks like we can put our own name. Usually I would put like my own name in there when it gives me the option to, but I'm going to stay with Calliope. Calliope. What's his name? Endymion. Endymion. The eternal dreamer. It fits him. He laughs gently, petting the sleeping lamb. Oh shit. Autumn. 336 years ago. Pretty. I was lucky beyond lucky when I found this body. This poor woman, of course, was not. She'd slipped and broken her neck, falling from a muddy trail in the hills. A foolish risk to take, all for a helpless lamb. I could have drained her body dry, and oh, I was tempted. I was ravenous that day when I found her full to bursting with iron. But I tempered my hunger. I stitched her back up very, very carefully until she looked as good as new, like she'd never so much as taken a tumble. Well, save the crescent moon carved beneath the crook of her collar like an old faded scar. Hungrier than ever in my brand new skin, I devoured the lamb. Then I walked through the hills, through the wood to her now, my home. With her flock all to myself, I would not go hungry for quite some time. She was an eccentric one, to say the least, this girl. Solitary and aloof, she kept to herself, with only her prized sheep as company. The townsfolk whispered unkind things about her. She showed them little interest in turn. Who would notice if her mind and heart had turned? Her animals did at first, but they learned quickly to obey their new master. I had roamed for a very, very long time. Now to suddenly spend my days in a quaint countryside town tending fluffy, fat, white sheep as the days and seasons passed me by. Such idleness was like Arcadia, pure, wonderful, halcyon calm. My new form wasn't terrible to look at either. It was strange to see her face stare back at me in the creek's surface, her large dark eyes and round freckled cheeks. But her hair was lovely, bright red like flames, like the fleeting leaves of autumn before they wither and cover the ground in muddy, dying browns. Spring and autumn, I'd always loved the transitory seasons. Cool but bright and unkind and blah. I can't read. My brain is skipping forward words. Cool but bright and unlike my unkind fleeting. Winter then spring then summer had all passed when he arrived. The greens had just begun to turn gold, copper and ruby. The nights bled longer into days, sunsets and sunrises streaking through the sky like open wounds.
Excuse me.
Like many creatures that stalked through the waxing cold, I was hungry. Hungry for human blood.
Vampire?
I thought he was a traveller. I had never seen his face before. I would remember it if I had. His steps were so light I barely heard them sound throughout the forest trail. But I could hear his voice, clear as a bell, humming a small song to himself. I listened and I watched him through the trees. He wore plain clothes, mended and remended with clumsy stitches. He was tall, his strides were long. His hair, too, was long and fell loosely behind his back, its silver strands framing his brow. How it shone in the evening sun, whiter than the fleece of a lamb. I waited as he drew near, and then I screamed. Okay, so he didn't know Calliope before he knew Selene. Wait, did I say that right? Like, what I'm saying is, he wasn't already married to Calliope before Selene came along. So even if he fell in love with, like, Calliope, he was actually falling in love with Selene? And wasn't aware of it. Huh. I didn't expect to slip and genuinely hurt myself. I didn't expect to need his help. It was your fault for distracting me, I say, more to myself than to him. I'd kick you if it wasn't for this bloody sprain.
Oh! Handsome.
I can't advise that, demoiselle. You'll hurt yourself again. He stops as I lean against him and mutters something unintelligible. Do you need to rest? He asks softly, voice tinging with concern. You've only just met me, why do you care? Carry me back, I can't walk anymore. I didn't expect him to literally sweep me off my feet.
Ooh.
I was joking. This is fine, he says, as lightly as my body apparently weighs. You're like a feather.
Aw, cute.
Just hurry back before it gets too dark. It'll be all right. The moon is full tonight, see? The trees in the path ahead clear their branches from the sky. As he walks, I look up and see her full, bright face shine down on me. So she is, I murmur. The lamb is much more wary than I am, forced to walk the long trail on its own legs, and falls fast asleep at its mother's side. What's his name? The stranger no longer a stranger asks. Who? The little one whom you went through so much trouble for, he replies, motioning to the slumbering lamb. I look up at the sky, at the moon and her stars, and say the first thing that comes to mind. Endymion. Okay, so it was the name of the sheep. Interesting. The eternal dreamer. It fits him. He laughs, gently petting its soft fleece. There is something beautiful about the sound of his laughter as it leaves his lips. It reminds me of the notes of a lyre, lovingly tuned, of a song I'd once heard in a time and place far, far from these sleepy woods. Perhaps it's the blood that flows within me, the fatigue of this human frame. Night was never the domain of the living that plays with my senses. It feels for a moment like I am standing inside a deep and pleasant dream. The wind gently caresses a strand of his long hair, silver as the moon above us, as he turns to me with a look of embarrassment. How silly of me. I asked for this young lad's name before yours, demoiselle. My name is Gabriel, he says warmly. And you are? Do you give your actual name, or do you say your real, the fake one from the body you took? The days grew colder and darker, autumn bleeding into winter. The old year breathed its last, a new one sprung from its ashes as the nights grew short. My body did not change, but the world around me did. The days grew warmer as the earth bloomed into spring and then finally summer. Like the seasons, my aloofness at his presence gradually turned to acceptance. And then, before I knew it, fondness. Soon after, he was in my thoughts every night. Instead of nightmares, the centuries of memories that tormented me in my sleep, I saw his face smiling. I heard his voice, clear and lilting, soothing me with a gentle song. He had always smiled at me, even when I stared past him, stone-faced, arrogant, disinterested. But now, when I smiled back, the way his eyes would shine and brighten in his entire face, I felt that of all people in the world, I was the only one who you looked at that way.
Oh,
The day would come when he knelt before me on one knee. I can't marry you, I tell him, stealing my voice. I turn my back so he cannot see my face.
aw.
Won't you tell me why? He asked quietly, with tenderness without hurt. Because this body will wither soon when the blood of my flock runs dry, or the villagers find out what I am. Because to be at your side heightens the risk of a hundredfold. Because I am not among the living, though my cheeks grow red and my heart flutters against my will when I look at you, when I hear you speak these words. They make me forget what I am, make me wish for what I must never desire. I can't give you children. I know, but I am not a lord or a prince. I don't need you to bear my flesh and blood. Interesting, though. He mentioned he had a child, didn't he? I'm gonna laugh if he was referring to the sheep. Besides, I know nothing can replace the lambs as your little ones. Oh, maybe he was referring to the sheep. Okay. I wish I could tell you I tend to them so tenderly because they are my lifeblood. I hardly have the means to keep a hearth and a home. You've seen the way I live. But you can stitch and sew like no one I've ever seen, and I'm a half-decent cook at the very least. If only you weren't so sweet. I still cannot. Do you dislike me? No, spirits, If you don't feel the same for me, then I'll leave your sight at once and forever. Oh, you fool. I love you more than you could ever imagine. I love you more than the moon loves her fiery star, more than anything and everything I've ever held dear in the long centuries I've walked through mist and earth. I want so much to hold you and never let you go. Then don't torture me so. Please say yes. Please make me the happiest man in this world. If only I were myself, my true self, I could have refused you. But I was not. At that moment, I wore and I was the foolish young woman who loved you. Interesting. That's very cute though, very sweet. Love that for them. This is tragic. Oh, they do a smoocheroo. Okay. There was guilt in the back of my mind and the far corners of my heart in the days that followed. Guilt, a foolish human emotion. But I was so happy I could bury it beneath the flood of joy that flowed through me, that poured from my heart like a fountain. It steeped back slowly, a poison in my veins on the eve we were wed. I knew that to take your hand to walk this path was to take a step I could not turn back, that perhaps the gods and their icons, if they ever lived, would not forgive. Yet I was steeped so much in sin and blood and cruelty already. I had taken so much, stolen so much, and continued my existence. But I did not merely wish to simply exist any longer. You made me wish, for the first time since I had truly been alive, to live. Perhaps he'd sensed that hesitation, the feeble, silent cry of my conscience. We don't have to. We can wait if you're not... well, they're talking about smoosh smoosh. Okay, I taking a drink. Oh my gosh. Why did his words only make me grow hungrier? I want this. I shut his soft, sweet lips with mine. Eek! The body that I wore when I spoke my vows to you was both living and unliving. A body that was not mine to live with, to love with. Oh, whoop, boop, 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 whoa, okay. I need to censor that. It literally shows nothing, but still I might censor that. But the heart that beat like a butterfly's wing when you kissed me, traced the crooked moon beneath my collar, just slipped free the lace from my wedding gown. No, wedding gown. It beat like my own. The skin that lighted like embers as you held me in your hands. Every inch of it felt like my own. Interesting. I don't know why. The art is reminding me of the Gakapo song, The Madness of the Duke of Veromina. For some reason, that's a good song. I should listen to that later. I haven't for a while. I loved him too much to stop. I hungered more for his touch than the sweetest taste of iron on my tongue. Though the name he whispered into my ears was not mine, the tenderness which he spoke, it belonged only to me. So you didn't give him your real name. You told him your name was Calliope. Oh, no wonder he's upset. You lived a life with him as Calliope and then became Selene after. What did it matter what shape I wore, what form his fingers traced, or gentle arms embraced? Your arms were made only to hold me. Your eyes were made only to behold me. Yeah, but he thinks you're Calliope the sheep herder, not Selene the mist queen. Your heart should beat only if it loves me. There, laying my head against his chest, lulled by the rhythm of his gentle heart, I thought of my body, my true body lying cold beneath the earth. I wished that I could feel this warmth. This fragile thing that I had now in my hands, I would cling onto it until death again parted me from him, until my unaging, undead form finally grew still. It would be a love as fleeting as a red leaf flitting through the autumn wind. Perhaps it was cruel of me to do so, but I could be no less callous than fate or time. Humans can hold memories for a lifetime after all, yet they move ever forward, because they must. Because that is what it means to walk among the living. He would live a long storied life, and I would be a brief but cherished memory in his heart. Just as I would hold him forever in my immortal and unbeating one. Interesting that he said you turned him even though he didn't ask you to. Is that what happened, or? Very pretty. Or so I had thought. That night, cradled in his arms, I see the face of the girl whose skin I wear in my dreams, melting away into blood and bone. 333 years ago. What's the time difference between that? I forgot how many years we started. What's the year that we started? Help! One of the darlings put it up there. Do the math. How long were they together? I smile now at the villages when I walk through town. I no longer hum only to myself as I spin wool into thread and thread into cloth. I share my joy with the birds, the flowers, the lambs, him. Like fabled Arcadia or fair Islam, my asylum? Asylum. Is that asylum? I'm not good with words. My tranquil days passed by in peace. Yet sorrow does not temper joy, it only makes it grow sweeter by contrast. And sorrows do pass us. He loses a patient for the first time, a mother to child bed fever. Soon, one of her sickly newborn twins follows her. Oh, do we adopt a baby? How it eats at him, my poor, sweet, gentle lamb. I console him that day as best I can. I have seen so much death being the cause of it at times I do not know what words he needs. But I hold him tightly and let him hold me. Then at night I long to sleep, slip from our bed and feed on the iron still sweet. Mother and son are buried together. Did she eat part of them? Nobody notices the corpses are lighter. She ate part of them! What the f***, Selene? Dude, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but holy shit. Still, it weighs on my beloved in the days that follow, the image of that unbreathing babe, and the weak weeping one left behind. And so, against the last fraying strands of my better judgment, I tell him, let us take in that child as our own. Thought so. I sew the head of a small wooden doll, suturing the seam along its neck with a long red thread. It is a lamb. Its fleece is made of the softest wool I could spin. Is that what you burn? You said you chucked something that couldn't be replaced into the fire. Did this, kid pass away And then, like, out of anger at Gabriel, she chucked that into the fire? Oh, I hope I'm wrong. That'd be awful. When I finish with its head, I take a thick black thread and give it new eyes, adding tiny white stitches for a twinkle in each one. Finally, I take another red thread for its mouth, stitching a small sweet smile. Every stitch must be perfect. It must be perfect. I work slowly and deliberately. I am careful, ever so careful, not to prick myself. I never enjoyed the sight of the iron escaping its flesh. So I yelp with surprise when I notice him behind me. Spirits, why don't you make any noise when you walk? Did I startle you? He asked sheepishly. Just as I am about to settle back into my chair with my needlework, a loud wail comes from the bedroom. And now you've woken him. I rush towards the wooden cradle in our chamber, lift the crying infant into my arms and rock him gently, saying, "Oh, hush, my love, my little lamb, Maman is here." Holding him in my arms, I start to sing. Oh, he's cute. Come to rest in my embrace. Let the moon hold you safe in her light and her grace. Should the clouds shroud your way, or the mist hide her ashen face, I shall guide you home in her place. Cute. The babe is fast asleep before I finish the last verse of the song. I set him down in his blankets and sigh, closing my eyes for a moment. As I stand, my beloved rests his head on my shoulder and holds me from behind. Nestled in his arms, I let him lead me back to the seat in front of the hearth. It feels so warm and blissful to be cradled myself. My love plants a kiss on my red hair before he settles beside me. "Forgive me," he whispers. "I just wanted to watch you work." "You're forgiven this time, but don't you dare sneak up on a woman with a needle again." He laughs very quietly, a sound sweeter than a lyre's tune, a robin's song. "I shall not." I finish stitching the doll as we sit in each other's company. "I thought I was deft at stitching wounds," he whispers, "but I've never seen anyone as skilled with a needle as you. One of my many talents. Perhaps you could learn a thing or two from me." "Humble as always, my darling." He laughs softly. I wish I could bottle that sound and listen to it for eternity. Once I'm finally satisfied with my work, I check back on the babe, holding the doll in my hands. He's still sleeping soundly. You have a magic touch, my darling. He's yet to fall asleep so quickly when I sing to him. I smile. That's not true, my love. Who would dare slumber when you sing? The baby boy before me is so warm and small, he must dream so gently as his small chest rises and falls. His cheeks are pink and round, his short curls soft as down. Happiness coincides that his hair is as red as mine. I'd almost forgotten that what my own dark locks looked like. Oh, this is sad. Oh no. I would miss this flame-coloured hair, a silly thing to treasure, perhaps among so many things more precious that I would lose. Among so many precious things that I would lose. But I would always have a fondness for it now. As I watch him, the fullness of my heart unravels to something cold, gnawing and dark. I'd let myself forget for a moment and believed that he could truly be mine. Mine to nurture and love, to care for and watch over as he grew. My chest twists as a spike has been driven through it. That wouldn't be good. Someone comes up behind it. I know you're a vampire. Oh shit. I know this is wicked of me, letting him... I heard a noise. I know this is wicked of me, leaving him a widower is cruel enough, but now a boy without a mother. At least they wouldn't be alone without me, I think, as my beloved nuzzles my cheek, wraps his arms around me. I close my eyes. Even if it's for the briefest moment, for the first time since, no, even before I drew my last breath as my true self, I have a family. Just for a moment, they are mine and only mine. I rest in their warmth, my beloved's arms around my waist, my son sleeping softly before me for just a little while longer. Finally, reluctantly, I break free. Watch over him while I run to the market, I whisper, carefully smoothing over my little one's blankets. Are you sure? I don't mind. I need some fresh air. I slip outside, but not towards the market square. An emptiness within me howls like an abyss waiting to be fed. I am afraid I would devour both you and this child, if I gave in to that hunger. Shit. Okay, so 2 years into the future. 331 years ago. He injures his back in a careless accident while trying to repair the old fence. He did so against my protests. I just wanted to make certain nothing else gets to your darling lambs, he'd said. His words twist like a knife in my gut. Oh, because she's the one who's been eating them. How could I tell you the true beast that devoured them stands right here before you, her guilty eyes brimming with tears. As I help him wash that evening, he laughs and tries to reassure me, wincing sharply as he does. This is nothing to worry about, my love. I am simply getting old. Look at my white hair. Your hair's always been white. Oh, stop. Just be careful, please. I look down out of shame and see our reflections stare back at me in the water basin. He has only just turned 9 and 20, the same age that once long ago my true body met its end. Oh. My beloved wears his age beautifully, the glow of youth still alive in his skin, tempered by his calm and graceful manner. But the face that I wear looks not a day over 19. I have not changed as the years have passed us by, and I will not change. The unkind whispers about me have never ceased completely. Some gossip that I was a witch or a creature of the mists, that I'd cast a glamour over myself and fed my husband poisons to capture his heart, that I'd cursed a woman with death to steal her bright-eyed babe for myself. Why would a man like him ever take her for a wife, they say. If she were a fairy, she'd have picked a prettier face to wear. Her eyes are like coal. How true, aren't they? Dreadfully lifeless. They were foolish and petty, but more right than they knew. And just perhaps there was more truth to their cruel words than I first thought. What if it was not death that would part me from him? What if he casts me aside? My beloved was like the sun, radiant, giving warmth to all he touched, ever ready with a bright smile or a kind word. Laughter and music were like breathing to him. It was hard to pull a smile or a song from my mouth in contrast. But was that any fault of mine? If he smiled so easily, didn't that mean the ones he gave me were less precious, less meaningful, less special? Oh, she's starting to lose it. She's getting anxious. That's not good. Why should you smile for anyone but me? Oh no, we're getting yonder 800 Cs. Why should you sing for anyone but me? No. You're at the widow's house often. I say, seeing him pack his doctor's bag and head for the door. The collar of his shirt, the one I'd mended for him, sits crooked around his neck. I straighten it for him, wondering briefly if my body would have the strength to strangle him if I needed to. Her boy isn't doing well, he replies. His voice sounds so distant, mired with concern. Was he worried for her child or for her? Oh shit. My beloved had given a beautiful eulogy when her partner passed, and oh, how prettily she cried. She had a loveliness that not even her reddened eyes nor dishevelled braids could lessen. He handed her his handkerchief, the one I had stitched for him painstakingly with bell-shaped flowers and green leaves, the one that matched his hair and eyes. How could something I gave you be so easily handed away? When I thought of her face, with her glossy locks and fair skin and bright eyes, who looked so lovely even as she wept, and her lively young son clinging to her skirts, her healthy child who ran and laughed like children should, I wanted to bleed the iron dry from them both. When I saw my plain face and stringy red locks in the creek's surface, with my son, still so small for his age, cried or fevered or would not eat, I wanted to tear off my own skin. Oh no, that's not good. Were you only concerned in a doctor's sense of duty, or was there something else? Whatever do you mean, darling? I didn't realize I'd spoken my thoughts aloud. Shit. I don't remember what I said, what I accused him of, what words I cried, then screamed at him. Only the misery I felt and the growing anguish written on his face. I wanted to hurt him. I wanted him to feel what I did, to hurt like I did. It was because of him I felt this pain. It was because of him I knew joy. But it was because of him that I now suffered so much in my heart, suffered from the knowledge that I would have to lose him, that I could not utter a word of it to him, for he was human and I was not. He was gloriously joyful, alive, and I was only half living, one half of my heart above the ground, the other buried beneath the earth. He was alive and I was not, and time would only tear him away from me. I would be gone and he would replace me with someone more beautiful, more devoted, a better mother, a happier wife. And then I would wither away in his memories, and nothing that remained of my love for him would be left. Crikey. I could not bear the thought of anyone else at his side, and any other person on this earth receiving his brightest smile, his tenderness, his tenderest caress. I thought of his hands encased in gloves knitted by another, fingers intertwined around another's. He was mine, he belonged to me. Why couldn't he remain mine? Why did I have to let him go? Why did I have to go back to being alone? He could not offer the words to comfort me because he did not know the depths of my anguish. Nor did seeing the pain mirrored in his expression bring me satisfaction. Eek. I should die, I think I told him. I should die if you ever left me. I shall hurl myself off the cliffs. Whew, boy. That is when he held me so tightly I thought I would burst. I beg of you, don't speak such words to me. If you die, I shall follow. If I lose you, I lose everything I have. Whatever harm may befall me, I can endure, but to see you or our child hurt, my soul could not bear it. What a fool I'd become, I'd realized. Foolish and jealous and flawed, almost as if I really were human. I was so tired then I should have apologized. But I simply collapsed onto the floor and cried, "Oh, shit." Then I promised him I would not speak these words again. He kissed my brow and stroked my hair, and then he swore to me in turn. I love you so much, Calliope.
He doesn't know you're Celine.
I'll always love you. I'll never leave your side, not until the day I die. That's enough talk of dying today, I say, my throat dry. I've made you late, be on your way. He sweeps me back and kisses me until I am out of breath before he does. Later that night, as I await for his return, the sheep in their pen, our son dozing on my lap, supper growing cold in the pot, do I realize the gravity of what he'd said. If you die, I shall follow. If I lose you, I lose everything I have. I didn't know whether to be happy or afraid. Oh yeah, shit, because she can't stay in that body and like grow old with him, because the body's never going to age, and then people will catch on to the fact that she's a fae or a vampire or whatever, and like she has to live off of the sheep too, and once they run out she's got to go. Crap. I knew I would soon have to die. I would have to leave this place. But did I have to leave him behind? Did you truly mean your words?
What about the kid, though? What happens to the kid? I'm getting nervous. Celine, what are you doing?
His steps are so quiet I don't hear him come up from the path until he swings open the gate. I rush to meet him by the door. The devastation on his face stops me dead in my tracks.
Oh, no.
330 years ago. The boy's cough had turned something much, much worse. Oh, does Gabriel catch the disease? Is that what's going to happen? Gabriel talking.
Drinky.
Gabriel, please, we should leave too. You can't save everyone here. Oh, it's a plague. Oh, he did say he lost his wife and his son to the plague, didn't he? Oh, shit. You should take our son and go, my love. I'll write to my father's relatives. Not without you, never. I should be dead. I should die here, not you. Please, I beg, falling to my knees before him. He lowers himself down to my height, holds me in his arms, and says in a voice ever so gentle, ever soothing, "This is my duty, my love. I can't leave when there are people I can save. Our child needs saving. He needs a father. He'll have you."
Not for long.
No, he won't. I want to scream. He'll hate me. He'll never call me Maman again if he finds out what I am. Well, you don't know that. If you're all he's ever known, then he's gonna think that's normal. Why are you so willing to give up your life for the sick and helpless? Why won't you live for me? You said you would never leave me. Calliope, please. I love you and our boy more than anything on this earth. But how could I be a man worthy of you if I ran away from the oath I swore to keep? You are a knight's son through and through. I realized then that he is my everything, but I am not everything to him. No, that's not right. I'm simply a girl whose heart you can break whenever you please.
No, Celine, stop it.
I should throw this body away and see what you think then.
No, you get take a breather. Go for a walk, take a breather. You're gonna do something you regret.
How you'd regret your words once you lowered me into the grave. I thought suddenly of my true face, my true self lying in the earth. It felt so very long ago when she was I and I was she. I scarcely thought of her as myself any longer. Perhaps it did not matter whether he foolishly threw his life away. Perhaps there was another way. A way to keep him by my side forever. Damn death or time or fate. If you won't go, then I must stay too.
Darling, remember what I swore to you in sickness and in health until death parts us. This too is my duty. You are mine always, but I too am yours no matter what happens. He closes his beautiful eyes. We can't let our child be orphaned again. He needs you. He needs his living parent, you fool. We won't. Dude, just, you could come out and be like, hey, I'm actually, like, a fae, like, I gotta do this, and just have a conversation. You can talk through this. Sure, he's not gonna be happy about the fact that you've waited this long, but talk through it. Dude, it's the best chance you got. Stop being an idiot. No, I won't lose him either. Our son leaves with a wagon of other children and stone-faced families for a province to the south. He has to be torn from my arms. Shit. My beloved hands him with tears in his eyes to that lovely young widow whose face I wanted to steal. How protectively she holds my little boy, how fiercely she swears to me to guard him. How brave and noble she looks, carrying another's child to safety even as she mourns a family of her own. I should hate her even more, but my heart is too full of misery and helplessness for more bitter resentment. He is so small and frail. What will he do when he wakes in the arms of a stranger? With neither of us by his side to hold him, sing to him, soothe him. Will he remember me? Will he think I abandoned him? Will he hate me for it? As long as you survive, as long as you grow up healthy and hale, you can despise me all you wish. When you are grown, I will find you again, my love, my lamb. I did not birth you, I feasted on your kin, but I am and will always be your mother. Damn. That's a lot, holy shit. Late in the night, my beloved pores over books, texts, treaties, searches for anything and at all that might offer a cure. I stay by his side as the candles burn, tirelessly preparing remedies to soothe the pains, herbs to mask the rot, incense to clean the pyres of bones clattered and bodies burned. Bones charred and bodies burned. Gabriel, please, you'll be of help to no one if you collapse. He sways unsteadily. I try to pull his tall frame into his chair. He falls against it and pulls me with him onto his knees. There he holds me for a long, long time. You're always right, my love. I only... He rests his head back in his seat and within seconds is sound asleep. Unable to move him, I bring a blanket of heavy wool and cover him as best I can. I lay down alone in our bed that night. It had always felt so narrow. But now it's impossibly vast and empty without him. The rot has crept up his arm. Is that why he wears the gloves? It eats at his right hand, covering his fingers in dark and foul splotches. His face contorts in pain when I change his bandages. It's no good. It's better I lose this arm than try to save it. My handwriting it was hardly legible anyway. He tries to laugh through gritted teeth. How can you smile at a time like this? We unearth his father's sword from the chest beneath our bed. Its steel blade still glistens. I had always wondered why he maintained it, its beautiful, deadly thing forged to kill. Perhaps he knew it would someday have its use. What? Did he cut his arm off? It didn't save him. His stump begins to rot as well, and soon the rest of his body follows. So does she sew him new hands, or are his gloves like his new hands? What's going on? This is crazy. His vision goes first. His right eye becomes filmy and swollen. He coughs and coughs and he coughs and he coughs, iron and phlegm escaping his pale lips. I have not had human blood in so very long. The healthy have fled, the sick taste of bitter ash. My body at last is fading alongside his. I knew I was playing a cruel game, but fate had to be crueler still. He was so full of life and kindness and love. His time could not end here. There was so much more he could do, so much he could give. These were the reasons I gave myself afterwards. A list of causes noble and benevolent. Yet, in the present, in those awful dying moments, the only truth in my heart was that I could not let him slip away from me. I could not bear to walk this world without him. I would hold on to you for eternity and never let you go. He lies unmoving on a straw mat, barely recognizable as human beneath his bandages. The incense burning in the room does little to mask the stench of rot and dying flesh. Somehow he clings to life, the slow, haggard sounds of his gasps, the faintest movements of his ribcage, the only proof he still breathes. His throat is too thick with phlegm and blood to do anything but gag on the water I offer him. His remaining eye, once bright as spring, stares out, hazy and unfocused, unable to meet mine. But I know he can hear me, sense that I am by his side. I cradle his bandaged face, singing softly to him as I hold what's left of his remaining hand and wait for the last breath to leave his lips. Only then do I leave his side and walk with what little strength remaining in my borrowed bones to the place deep in the woods where I'd buried myself. I attach a new arm to his flesh, sew new fingers to his hands, stitch new nails to each one. I stitch closed his wounds, working as carefully as my impatience allows. My hands were always depth in borrowing form, but compared to my own skin, may as well have been a child's clumsy fingers. Such freedom is like stretching my wings after being cocooned. I cannot wait to share this feeling with you, my love. Shit. No! I hit a button. I hit a button and I lost my place. No! Shit. Just to each one. I stitch close the wounds, working carefully as impatience allows, hence burrows, blah blah blah. Okay, we found a place. Don't hit that button again, oh my god. I do the best I can with what I can scavenge, sighing as I work. A habit of being alive. What need did I have to breathe now? Oh, how I wished I could find another eye so green the colour of spring leaves. Oh, that's why he was covering his eye with his hair. Oh my goodness. But this cold dark one will have to do. I cut away his old skin, stretch a new one over his flesh, and stitch him tight until he is perfect, ashen, flawless. Save for the crooked crescent moon I carve into his wrist. From my heart I give him my lifeblood, my ichor. Into his marble lips I pour iron from my discarded body's veins. Oh, he's gonna hate that. Then I wait and watch as his eyes flicker open. Oh, he's not gonna be happy. I cradle his head against my chest, my fingers intertwined around his wispy silver locks. Welcome back, my love, I whisper. His body is still for a moment at rest in my arms, then his eyes go wide. Suddenly he pushes me back, staring at me in confusion and panic. What happened? My wife, where is she?
Oh.
Darling, it's me, your Calliope. Recognition does not light up in his eyes. I had thought foolishly that he would know me in any form. But he was only human. He brings his hand before his face, then stops. Slowly he turns his flawless fingers over, staring at each one.
Shit, dude.
I watch as his features twist in confusion, realization, and finally, horror.
Crap. That's one hell of a thing to wake up to. Ugh, I feel bad for Gabriel. Holy shit. Poor bugger. You should have just I hate to say it, but it might have been better if she just let him die. Let him be at peace knowing that he lived with his loving wife next to him at every thing. And I know it would hurt, but Celine, you being a little... I understand why you did it, but damn.
He jerks away from me and climbs to his feet. There I see his fear and revulsion only grow as he scans the room.
Did you hide the body? Because if not, yeah, you're screwed.
In my haste, I had not cleaned after myself. I watch his eyes fall on the bodies, the torn flesh and skin and iron and bone. On a skull with long and once lovely red hair is one empty socket gouged out. She gave him Calliope's eye?
Oh, crap.
Then he screams and buries his face in his beautiful hands and screams again.
Dude. Holy shit.
What are you? What have you done? He asked me a few questions and speaks few words. He does nothing but stare at the charred remains of the pyres against the sky, day and night. I stare at his hands, his perfect hands, as if they are ashen claws of a beast. He does not drink unless I force the iron down his lips.
Oh, it just hit me that because in the first part of the game they were talking about how she was hunting down another one of their kind who has been hunting villages and stuff. So what if that was their kid, and in the future she tracks down their kid and turns him, and then he's the one going around killing people and stuff. Oh god, this is so interesting, and I'm absolutely hooked. I love it. One night, after a long hunt, I returned to find the house empty, his familiar form gone from his vacant seat, leaving nothing behind but the memories of the life we once shared. Autumn, 300 years ago. It was 30 years before I saw him again. He'd cut his beautiful silver hair short, haphazardly, strands of it falling over his bandaged eye. He wore a shirt of iron rings beneath a muddy jerkin, the emblem of some lord emblazoned on it, faded and scratched from battle. On his forearms he wore leather vambrances over his hands, rough, worn gloves. Oh, if I had been sated then, I would have wept. I had had 30 years to walk alone, to wash the human senses from my mind and return to the creature that I was, cold, unchanging, unfeeling. I had travelled south in search of my child. I'd wondered if you had done the same.
I would not give him the cruel fate I had granted you. Ah, okay, so she didn't. I only wanted to gaze at him from a distance, wish him well, see how he'd grown. But families fleeing plague and pestilence is a story too common in these lands where the mists once fell. Nobody could recall a widow carrying a red-haired boy. My poor sweet darling was always so fragile, so frail. The journey would have been difficult for him even without the threat of sickness. Oh, if only. On the nights that I hunted, gorged on iron, red and sweet until my heart again started to beat, the memories would come back to me. I would think of him and you. I longed for you so ardently. I wanted both to hold you and tear you to pieces, to rip the beautiful skin I'd stitched for you to shreds, to sink my fangs into your throat and watch the ichor drain from your snow-white flesh. I would curse your name and cry for you in the same breath. I would wonder if you had ever loved me as deeply, as endlessly as I had loved you. Oh, I think he did. I just think you should have probably told him about the whole stealing a body thing sooner. Like much sooner. I would cry for you in return. If you were mine, you were mine, you were mine always. Then I would weep and sing myself to sleep. But even when the flow of fresh blood had gone from my veins deep within my still heart, I still loved you. Beneath that, I resented you. But above all, I missed you so keenly, so terribly. As if a piece of myself was gone. Sorry. There, standing before you in that field again, I could have fallen to my knees and wept to see what you'd become. My gentle, harmless lamb, I changed you. I turned you against your nature, forced you to hunt and maim. To take the role of a common soldier, how starved had you been? How desperate that you'd slip like a carrion crow on the backs that littered the battlefield. You'd sip like a carrion crow, sorry. I knew how much it must have tortured you. But as long as humans wearied, we of the dead should never go hungry. As long as humans warred, we of the dead should never go hungry. That thought was a sharp and bitter feeling in my cold heart, a waste of a precious life given to them if only... Oh, he kneels before her, that's interesting. There you dropped to the ground and knelt at my feet. Gabriel, how I longed to hold you in my arms, caress your face. Oh, when I saw you, decades apart may as well have been days. I would beg your forgiveness, I would kiss your sweet lips and sigh. Just as I opened my mouth to speak, I cannot walk beside you as your husband, my lady, you said. The shepherdess I loved died in that village alongside the man that I was. Oh, it's sad. If my heart was not already dead, it would have turned to stone and crumbled away to dust. But I cannot walk alone any longer. I can't. Oh, boo. It's sad. I have no path to follow now but yours, no other purpose to serve than yours. Please let me devote myself to you. Oh, that's sad. In your voice I heard a lost lamb begging to be guided, to be left alone no longer, a feeling I knew all too well. Rise, sweet Gabriel, I am happy you returned to me. I only ask one thing, you replied, still kneeling. If I ever lose myself, go mad for blood, turn into a monstrous being, you must destroy me. Is that why she was so desperate to hunt him? Don't speak such words to me. Promise me. You stared at me with one green eye, pleading. Even as my true self, it seemed I could not refuse you at all. Very well, I promise. Holy shit. Winter, present. I'm glad she didn't turn the kid though, and she realized, like, okay, no, this is really, really cruel to do, but damn. I wake up to the sound of a crackling fire, a smoky, savoury scent thick in the air. I try to stretch my limbs, but hit rough, solid wood. Strange, my side of the bed never reached the wall. The cabin, that night, the woods, the wolves. Him. I sit straight up on the furs. I try to stop the pounding in my chest, a thing that should be so easy. But not when I am half alive in an unfamiliar skin. Not when I am weak, iron-addled, filled with the lingering, crushing weight of 1,000 useless memories. At the other side of the room, he sits on the stool, tending to a large pot over the fire. Steam wafts from it, carrying the scent of boiling roots and herbs, bones and meat. Dry, bloodless meat. I try to calm my nerves. I try to remember what I came here to do. To stop a monster from harming any more innocent souls. And if that monster should be the knight I made a vow to so long ago to keep that promise, I shall shake off the traces of half-painted worthless dreams that cloud my resolve, but their shadows... I try to shake off the traces of half-painted worthless dreams that cloud my resolve, but their shadows linger in my heart. Perhaps it's because he changed from the night before. Now the faintest trace of colour paints his cheeks. His pale brow no longer looks so cold, the iron flowing slow, sluggish beneath his skin as he spoons up the broth into a small bowl and sets it in front on the table before me. Whatever creature gave its life for this meal sated him as well. You must be starving in that form, he states, plainly. My stomach does rumble at the scent, but I ignore it. I stare at the bowl, then at him. I steel my mind and my voice, bearing the embers that flicker in my heart like ash. Well, my hunter, what did you find? Pyres burning in the villages, families mourning their daughters, like you said. He sounds so pained, so angered, I could believe his ignorance, his innocence. But doubt still lingers in my mind. Can I believe you? You who can spin lies into songs that sound sweeter than truth? You who can pretend to all the world to be my dearest prince, then look at me in revulsion when we're alone? You who swore you would love me for all your days and never leave my side, but now flee from me at every opportunity. Who are you? Perhaps the man I thought I knew died long ago. Perhaps I never knew you at all. I don't know what to be more furious about, that you tried to use yourself as bait or that you tried to ensnare me. I ignore his remark. Did you find any trace of our killer? Or is he in the room with me? No, not yet. He motions to the bowl. Ooh, yum. It's stew! Oh my god, it's stew! Stew, it's you! Yay! Eat first. It'll go cold if you don't. Don't mind if I do, that looks really good. Oh! Celine! Come on. I'm not hungry. Don't lie to me, please. I stare at him, trying to turn my nose from the savoury scent. Eat! Stuff it in your gob. Fine. Gingerly I scoop a spoonful of the broth and bring it to my lips. It's simple but savoury, far better than the meal thrown together in the wild has any right to be. Perhaps it is only the excitement of that long-forgotten sense returning to me. Taste. A taste that brings me back to a small house in the countryside town, rain pattering outside the windows. A song sweeter than a lyre's notes on his lips, the babe in my lap giggling as he plays with my hair. I swallow the memory as I bite down on the spoon. It tastes just like how you used to make it. He looks at me with an unreadable expression as I take another spoonful, then another. Once I have finished the bowl, he rises to his feet. For a moment his eyes rest on the empty space by the bed next to me, but he quickly settles onto the low stool by the hearth instead. Did you find what you were looking for? What?
Dude, you said you didn't, put the stuff back where it was. Of course he knows you were searching in his room.
I know you searched through my things. They're a mess now.
Exactly!
They were a mess to begin with. If anything, I left them neater. I stop myself from continuing with this useless conversation any further. No, my hunter, you clean after yourself well. You seem so sure that I lured your lost victims, but how would the funeral pyres have bodies to burn if I brought them here? Not here then. Did you attack them in the forests? In their homes? What are you hiding then? A secret lover? I say the words half as a jest, but didn't expect him to react so strongly. No, I've never lured anyone to my bed. At least not until last night. When you saw this face? When I knew it was you wearing it. Spirits, is it a crime to now seduce my own wife?
Damn. Crikey. Big marriage issues.
I looked down at my hands. Why did that sentence make my skin feel so warm? But I wouldn't have taken it that far, not with that body. Of course you wouldn't. You'd never touch me at all. Not since you slipped another ring on my finger did you hold my hand once without wearing those damned gloves. Oh, with the beautiful hands that I made for you. You're in another woman's skin, Selene. If I had wanted to. Is that what you want, Gabriel? Your pretty little shepherdess is never coming back. Why do you keep coming back? Why do you return to me if you despise me so? Why become my consort in the first place? Why couldn't we just stay at arm's length the way we were? Lady and knight, shepherdess and lamb, a love that burned once but was destined to smoulder into cold white ash. Not this lie, not this tale we wrote for the world. Take heed before ye iron bleed, for the ashen prince will come for thee. With heart of stone and cloak of snow, where the mist queen wanders he shall go. Why couldn't I let you go? Why does that thought even now tear me into 1,000 pieces? I don't despise being at your side. Liar. I only wish you would listen to me for once. He stops, lips frozen mid-sentence like a statue. Then without a sound he cranes his head as if trying to hear something above the winter wind. What is it? He motions for me to be quiet. I'm not finished, I don't have to listen to you. But some instinct in my half-living heart bids me to indulge him. I sit very, very still. All of a sudden it's vividly apparent to me how much sound I make in my warm living body. How blood pounds through my ears as I struggle to breathe as quietly and shallowly as I can. All the while my hunter sits still as marble, cold as stone. Then, with a sweep of his cloak, he rises from the stool. I hear it now too. Footsteps crunching through the snow, drawing nearer. Flinging his head towards the bed, he signals me to hide. I slip myself as best I can beneath the uncomfortably cramped space as I watch his footsteps approach the door. My heart feels like it's in my throat. My living human instincts scream at me to run. But I do not. I wait and wait. Until from the other side of the wooden door comes a slow, simple knock. I hold my breath as my hunter slowly swings open the door. The wind whistles as the snow makes its way inside the cabin, but my hunter does not move. He stands so still, he makes no sound at all, save a small, sharp breath. Who is it? Why won't you say anything? Why do I hear singing? That's interesting. Celine? What? And then a sing-song voice, familiar voice, an impossible voice, the intruder speaks. Oh my god, is the wife? What's wrong, darling? Oh my... Oh, they said there was another one. The other one must have found her body and then picked it up. Holy shit! Are you so surprised to see me, sweet Endyman? Won't you invite me inside? Oh my god. Holy shit. That's a hell of a way to end a demo. I am hooked. Holy crap. Whoa. Darling, don't you recognize me? Oh my god. It's me, your sweet Calliope. Oh. Whoa. Okay. So apparently Calliope has, like, maybe because she stayed in Calliope's body for so long, when she, like, returned to her old one, she accidentally, like, turned Calliope into one of them. And then, like, oh, I've got so many theories that I'm so excited. That's so cool. Oh, shit. What? What? Oh. Oh my god. Music art story programming by ENDYSIS. Mist Queen words and music by ENDYSIS. Good job, ENDYSIS! Am I pronouncing your name correctly? I hope I am. I am so sorry if I get that wrong, but that was so good. I am so excited for the, like, full game release. That was awesome. I am absolutely hooked. I am hooked. I'm hooked. I'm hooked on the story. I can't wait for it to come out properly. Wow. Wow. A massive round of applause to you, mate. That was awesome. As you can see on screen, it says wishlist on Steam. I will put any other like places you could go to in the side or something. I don't know why I don't have hand tracking on my model. That is the issue with me. I talk with my hands and then my hands don't show up on the model. I smacked my drink bottle. But oh, so good, so good, so good, so good. I am definitely gonna keep my eye out for the full game when that comes out. And yeah, just great job to the dev. Loved the story. Love where this is going. Super interested to see, like, is that Calliope? Is that somebody else pretending to be Calliope in Celine's body? I don't know. Will Celine be able to get her body back? It just, oh, hoo-de-doo-doo. That is awesome. That was Snow White Ashes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did. Support the dev, and I will see you next time. Hopefully. Bye bye.